Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 7-Point Ops session. I'm Ed Novak, one of the co-founders here at 7-Point Solutions. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this short recording. In this session, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. I'll talk about ops in addition to other solutions that we've developed. I'll quickly show you ops and wrap up with information on how you can try out ops risk-free. We started 7-Point over 6 years ago with a couple of goals in mind. First, we wanted to build a real-time mobile collaboration platform for event operations staff so they can see all the events that are going on for a particular day, all the setups for those events, then provide real-time feedback back to supervisors and managers regarding the status of those setups. Second, we wanted to leverage our extensive experience in the scheduling software space to provide expert integrations and custom application development to higher ed. You've made a wise investment in Astra, and we want to make sure you get the most out of that investment. We have over 100 colleges and universities on the ops platform and have worked with over 100 more to develop various solutions, including room request applications, integrations with student information systems, student organization management systems, financial systems, facility management systems, and smart building technology like occupancy sensors. We've really done it all, and we're here to help in any way that we can. So, on to ops. Ops is a web-based application, so there's nothing to install. It works on any device with a browser, including mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and PCs. Ops integrates with Astra through the Astra API, so there's no IT involvement to get things up and running. You're looking at the daily setup area. This is probably the most important view in ops. We show you all of the events for a particular day, along with basic event information, including start and end times, meeting names, meeting location, meeting setup, and organizer or host information. On the right, at a glance, I can tell which events have services associated with them. So if there's nothing here, there are no services. If there are services, then we'll indicate that with an icon of your choosing, so you can designate different resource categories. So for instance, this one has a lot of services associated with it. To see those, I just simply click to expand. Now, obviously, we'll only show you resource categories that you've defined. This is a demo database, so I have a little bit of everything here just to give you an idea of what we can display. If you have setup diagrams attached in Astra, we could pull those over as well. So I can see that setup diagram by just clicking on the little cube icon, and it'll show me that attachment. Now, as a staff member, what I can do is I can see which events have services. So maybe if I'm in charge of AV, I can easily identify those events. I can see what those details are. And then when I'm done setting up, in the done column over here on the left side, I can indicate that I'm done. So basically, I can go in here and mark that the AV has been set. Now, these items here are defined by you so that they make sense for your operations. So if you're not managing catering, then that wouldn't appear. But as things are marked off as completed, we provide an audit trail down below, so you can always tell when something was completed and by whom. We also have the ability to mark that something has been sanitized or cleaned. So again, that's another option. So now, as someone who's looking at ops in the daily setup area, I can see the status of what has been going on for the day. So a red dot means nothing has been completed, but as items are marked off as completed, we'll place an icon in this area So again, at a glance, you can tell what has or hasn't been completed. And then if you do enable the room cleaning or room sanitized feature, we show that a little bit differently as well. So we'll mark the user's initials along with the color that you pick. Couple of other quick features. This is real time, so as changes are being made, we'll display those. So in this case, I can tell that the meeting end time was changed from 12 p.m. to 10 a.m. And then we also allow your staff to add notes to particular events, to designate whatever makes sense for your environment. So for instance, maybe extra equipment was brought in and we want a way to show that or record it. Or maybe some damage was found. So because you're on a tablet or your phone, you could take a picture and you can attach that with a note to an event. And then all of these stay with the events in our system forever. So you can run reports on any notes that have been added. You can also automate it so that a report goes out waiting for you in your inbox the next day that includes all of the notes for all of the events. We also have the ability for you to define tasks. Now these tasks may be related to the events down below, or they could be completely standalone. So in this case, maybe I want to make sure that the restrooms are being checked a couple of times a day. So I added a task. I can indicate what time I want that task started and when I'd like it to be finished by. You can assign it to a particular department, even to a particular user. You can assign it to a particular user. They can receive an email indicating that they're responsible for that task. You can have this be specific to a day. You can also make it recurring so that it displays every day. And then you can also ask your staff to mark that task as completed when they finished it. So in this case, I can tell this one hasn't been done yet, but this one was completed. We developed ops for speed. So we optimize it to return information as quickly as possible. Once we load up events for a particular day, your staff can easily search across all of those events for any piece of information. So let's say you had 100 events on a particular day. Just trying to eyeball a piece of information would be difficult. But for instance, let's say a client comes up to you and says, hey, where's my meeting? Your staff can just quickly type in a portion of their name, and we'll filter this list down to whatever meets that criteria. So that's one example. You could ask ops to show you all the events in a particular room. So if I just type in West, I could see all the events in the West conference room. And you can also use this as a way to identify where your equipment is. So maybe I want to see which events have flip charts. So by just typing flip chart, I can see the events that require flip charts. So again, anything on the page is searchable and the results are returned quickly. So everything in the daily setup area is displayed in a list view. You can also look at this in a grid view. So same information, just displayed graphically. I can see any services associated with that event just by simply clicking on the bar, and we'll show you quickly everything that may be tied to that event. You can also toggle this to look at that completion view. So if you're curious what has been set up for a particular event, I can toggle that over here, and this will show me everything that has been completed. So for instance, I can tell that this room's been unlocked, this room's been unlocked, the AV's been set. Another powerful feature of ops is our log functionality. So you can define one or more logs to track anything that's appropriate for your operation. So these are just some examples that our customers have defined. These seem to be pretty popular. But for instance, you can manage incident reports in ops. So when you define a log, you pick the questions and you define the question types. So you can decide whether something is numeric, whether it's multiple choice, whether it's a date. It's really up to you. In this case, I have a lost dog found incident report. So I can view all of the details. Again, all of these questions are defined by you. And there's also some workflow associated with this. So for logs or reports that are important and people should be notified immediately, you can make sure an email is sent out immediately when something like this is completed. So for example, on this incident report, I received an email immediately. And again, that's an option. You can also, for other logs that may not be that important, you could set this up to set up an automated email for the next day, so it's waiting for you in your inbox in a digest format. And as far as workflow goes, you can also enable completions on your logs. So for something like a maintenance request, once this has been added, if someone's responsible for addressing that maintenance request, they can see all the details. And then when that has been completed, you can ask them to come in here and mark that as completed. So again, for all the logs on a particular day, you'll always know what has been added. And if you enable workflow aspect of ops, then you can also tell what has been addressed and completed. Everything that is entered into ops, whether it's notes or these logs, stay in ops, and you can report on them indefinitely. So for that incident report, I could search for all the incident reports on a particular day or a date range. Again, as far out as you need to go. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, but I can easily generate a report to show me all the incident reports added. And you can also search for a particular piece of information. So if you wanted to search for a name, you could do that. All right. And finally, we do have a basic alert system in ops. So if you'd like to add an alert, and sometimes people use this just for an announcement or just a heads up to staff, any staff members on the platform will receive that alert. This will flash at them and they'll see one outstanding alert. They could go in here and read what the alert is, and then they can acknowledge it. So you can tell who actually has reviewed it. And that is ops in a nutshell. There are various other features we'd love to show you in a more detailed demonstration if you'd like to. If you're interested in doing that, or just curious about how you can start your free trial, you can contact us at sales@7pointsolutions.com or at the number listed here. Thanks for the opportunity to show you our product ops, and we'd love to talk to you soon. So have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your conference.